All right, we are live here at the Pace Studio remotely, and I'm joined today by Nahko. Nahko, so good to have you.
Thanks for having me, Josh. I love your is that's a real background, I'm assuming.
It is, it is. This is not one of those Zoom like build a background. So,
It looks
yeah.
great.
So, where are we talking to you today? Where are you located at
We
the
are
moment?
we're on planet Earth. We are in Oregon, just near Mount Hood National Forest, so just about an hour east of Portland.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
So, are you able to get out in nature a little bit and still stay connected to everything?
absolutely. I have that privilege. I live on 6 acres here, so uh, I've been spending a lot of time outside and getting gardens ready and planting, and it's just that time of year. So yeah, I've got some greenery to be around for sure.
That's fantastic. Well, it's so great to have you here. You guys have a new album coming out, your fifth, with either as the Medicine People or just as you, Nako. And it's what I've heard so far sounds really exciting.
Thank you.
A few singles that have been released. And so tell us a little bit about making this record and how this one's a little bit different than what you've done before.
Sure. The album is called "Take Your Power Back," and it's been about 3 or almost 4 years now since our band Medicine for the People put an album out. I had a solo album in the interim period, and so this has been an accumulation of course, experience and time from my life. And this has been absolutely one of the most to it. It has so much opportunity to explore new sounds and new collaborations, and I felt as though this was just an exciting time. We got to work with these two producers out of LA. Their names are Cut and Dry, and they were just able to really bring that soundscape that's inside the head. You know, that's what a great producer is going to do. Working with them was fantastic. We got to record in an iconic studio in LA called the Village Studios. We were able to record in the room where Maharaji had brought meditation, transcendental meditation into LA. So there was just like this big vibe, you know, in creating this album where in the sort of shadows of like some of the great other greats that have been in there, and journey that we're all on, this sojourning journey, like a prodigal child, like returning home to the self. And so it's filled with very personal, in particularly at this time.
That's amazing. Well, I can't wait to hear something off it. Are you going to play something new today?
Yeah, let's play a song here. I might as well give you a little cheers here since it is happy hour.
It is happy hour.
There he is, the Crystal
Oh,
Skull.
nice.
Woo!
Fantastic. Is that tequila?
What is that? A happy? What are you drinking there? What are you drinking there?
I am drinking a Wild Heaven West End DuPont. And it's just,
Casamigos, Casamigos tequila.
all right.
So, salud, salud. Give me a little lime here.
Perfect.
All right. All right. This song is called Lifeguard, and this is on the new album. And interestingly enough, I mean, I wrote this song about 10 years ago, and it finally raised its hand and was like, I want to be on the new album. So we're like, I just marvel at the magic that music has to withstand the test of time and still continue to be relevant. So this is that song. I hold my breath for humanity's sake, for the way we hold the space, for every color, every race, to take more than you need, an unconscious thing. Many have been silenced, but I have come to sing. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. La da da There are men who cast their nets in search of purpose and respect, coming back with emptiness, forgotten all their privileges. I watch them pass on the sidewalk, drink my coffee, wrap my thoughts, check the weather, check my watch, waiting for the sun to drop so I can start a fire, signal all the blame. Oh, we ought to take things far more personal. What do we stand? Oh, la da 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 da. Thank you.
Man, just listening to your music a lot today, and just I feel like it is so much of the moment right now. Just the kind of thing it's uplifting. I mean, it doesn't overlook the problems of the world. It tackles all of just depth, and I appreciate that. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much for saying that.
So recently you had a song come out for Earth Day, that 50th anniversary of Earth Day, and it really just sort of felt like it was capturing the spirit of that. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. Again, another song that I've had waiting in the ethers, to be ready for the world to listen to in its official way. And I've been working with an organization now. It's an indigenous organization out of Minnesota, run by Anishinaabe people, actually, and founded by Winona LaDuke of the Anishinaabe tribe, working with different tribal peoples in our country, helping them establish green environmental practices, etc. And so initially, the inspiration came from my work and collaboration with this organization, but also upon hearing and learning more about the treaty, the Iroquois Confederacy Treaty, that brought together the Six Nations, was so inspiring to me. And so I kind of had to nature at such a different time of our evolutionary process, and before colonization, before all this before these big changes that happened in our countries for our peoples. So I kind of took that angle, and man, I had such a good time recording that song, and I really think it came to really spread that message of how we need to really be putting our relationship to nature, which is in tandem with our human nature, of which we've been disconnected to for so long, and which I think during this crisis we've been able to really set from not only our spiritual bodies, but from nature itself, and the physical nature, from the nature of the outside world. So I really feels aligned in a big way.
Yeah. By the way, Indigo Girls are going to be on the show in May 21st, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
But it is, so, we are all sort of stuck at home, but still I'm seeing hellos from Texas, Washington State, Switzerland. So we still have this connection across the world right now, even as we're kind of sitting at home. So how are you handling all of this, of not being able to?
And I'm learning to accept the celebration of that experience, because I think we're all trying to, balance our feelings around whatever kind of economic position we're in, right? 24/7. I feel so deeply just the disparity, this collective disparity that we're feeling. But for me personally, I'm just learning to walk with both of those things, in celebration and in remembering that so many people are suffering constantly, all the time. But I'm doing great, man. I'm planting seeds. I'm writing songs. Like the songs are coming in right now like crazy, and I'm just like, woo! All right, this is what we've been waiting for, baby.
Ah, that's fantastic. That's great. Well, awesome. Well, what are you going to play second for us today?
I'm gonna play you onto the earth.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah, we're gonna do it on the piano here. So, salute. Sir.
Salud.
Woo! We get a better sound. Let's see if this goes all right here.
All right.
Gate of the West, my loves, four-legged and wings, mycelium branches and fins under the ocean. Totems of what we would call God, the creator, who just happens to be neighbors with the law of nature. She's a painter after all. When the mountains knew our names and the rivers sang our songs as they cast into the ocean, where the whales would sing along. We're the people of the salmon, we're the people of the rice, we're the people of the collar, and this is our life. I will be there when my grandchildren honor the earth. The mother comes first, live in a good way for her. Live in a good way for her. The sailors see the planet was warming by a couple degrees. Cedar and stone are actual origins unknown. Looking for answers, triangular lights in the sky. No bees are buzzing. They were struggling to survive. The data shows the shift. We're the people from the stars and the keepers of the old ways. I will be there when the work is done. Honor the earth, the mother comes first. Live in a good way for her. Honor the earth, the mother comes first. Live in a good way for her. Live in a good way for her.
Oh, that was great. So yeah, I mean, all of the Earth Day celebrations that would have been happening around the world, it was very strange because on one hand, it was sad not to be able to have these. On the other hand, for Earth Day, like the idea of sort of everybody taking a breath and letting nature heal a little bit is has been a strange thing to watch. What was your Earth Day like? What did you feel like you were really experiencing it like you would have been otherwise?
No, I mean, here's the thing. It's like everybody understands that every day should be an Earth Day vibe. You know, we should consistently be like creating and uh, integrating into our lifestyle uh, a a way that we give back to our environment that we live in, to the soil to which we came from, to which we will return. I feel like um, the reminder that I was getting all day on Earth Day was that we have yet so much work to do in in this moment of recognizing that uh, in this global experience of slowing down for a breath for a moment, that the next trillion worse, and that uh, the 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 climate itself, our in breath, as I was celebrating, you know, a sort of global celebration of our planet, you know, I'm still holding this alternate or this other feeling that like the work is just beginning, and that we have a responsibility to our planet and to the future generations to take care of her in a deeper way, and that it's okay to celebrate and it's necessary to celebrate. And I think like I get caught up sometimes in like thinking like, okay, let's do more than that. You know, it's like let's challenge the status quo. Let's like actually get these these programmed and these designed ideas to build a better future, to protect our environment, to not lose the Amazon. You know, like let's do.
Nice. All right. Well, we're going to bring in BJ Barham here from American Aquarium.
Let's have a drink together.
And have a drink because it is Happiest Hour.
Woo!
There he is. Hey, BJ.
How are you?
Doing great. So, sparkling water there is because it's like super carbonated.
Oh, it's the greatest thing in the entire world.
Nice. So, I'll start us off. I know there have been people on the front lines, and today a lot of them stepped off to strike for better conditions. And I know that's not an easy thing to do when you rely on a paycheck. And there's so many people that are out there right now working to deliver groceries to, and I just want to raise a glass to stand with them today. So cheers to them.
Cheers.
Nahko, who else should we be toasting today?
Woo!
That's some good tequila, huh?
I'm just thinking, yeah, with credit, you know, in all times, and I think our essential workers are, you know, undefined sometimes. I want to give a shout out to and a toast to all of our immigrant workers and to all the people who have come from other countries to live in America and who were born here in America with immigrant families, including my own, and those and to their actions as they continue to help us get through times of crisis.
Amen. Cheers to that. Cheers to them.
Cheers.
All right, BJ, who else are we toasting today?
Another form of essential workers. We put out a new record today, and so I've spent the last week fulfilling merchandise orders, and so I'd like to raise a glass to the United States week. So I brought them all cookies today, and told them thank you for putting up. Anybody that's showing up to their job and taking care of people and risking their life, their families' lives, so that we can have some sense of normalcy. Just cheers to them.
Cheers to the postal workers. All right. Well, Nahko, thanks so much for joining us today. This was such a pleasure. And take care out there in Oregon. Be safe, be well, and best of luck with the release. If anybody out there is not pre-ordered,
for having me on today, and it's been a real pleasure. Y'all take care of each other and take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time. All right.
All right. See ya. So BJ, congrats on the new album. I had it on repeat today. It's so good.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about making this record and what went into writing these songs, which feel all a little bit of a piece. The album's called Lamentations. The theme feels like a series of different lamentations, even though there's just a variety of stories on here. This idea of not being able to grasp onto that thing that you believed in, that thing that you were relying on, and the idea of the biblical lamentations of sort of losing faith for either momentarily or for good. But it's an incredible record. I want to hear about the writing of it.
For sure. So I don't know how other writers' processes are, but mine, I always start off with the title of the record before I write any song on the record. It keeps me kind of honest to make sure that I stick with the theme. So I come up with these centralized themes, and then I see the bigger puzzle piece, and then I break it apart into 10 or 11 different little pieces and make sure that all of them go together for one cohesive thing at the end. And so it all started last January 2019. Me and my wife were staying at an Airbnb. We were on a solo tour, and we were at Airbnb, and it was one of those kind of like niche kind of Bible verses in a flowing script that go up above a mirror or something. And I didn't even read the verse or any of the doctrine, but I just saw the word lamentation. And I thought, as someone who was raised in an extremely religious family, all these memories kept rushing back to me. But also I realized that that's a word that we don't really use in the American lexicon too much. And so I started kind of deep dive. I wrote it down in my notebook and didn't look at it for a couple of weeks. And then I started, going back through the notebook from that solo tour and starting to kind of put together pieces for what the next record could be. It's Jeremiah writing to God, questioning God's existence. He's watching Jerusalem fall to Babylon. So I saw a lot of direct correlations about a guy watching his country fall apart and questioning God's existence in 2019. And so I started writing. The first song I wrote for that record was the title track, Me and Mine. And once I wrote that song, I realized that if I was to, I try my best to stand up for what I believe in, but also do it in an empathetic way.
Exactly, and that's what comes through on this record.
Thank you. I'm so happy it comes through, because my mother always taught me that, you're never going to get someone to listen to you if you just start off by telling them they're wrong. You have to find that middle ground, and then you can stand up for what you believe in. And I think somebody else is going to have a little bit more respect with you when they know that you're not attacking what they believe in.
Well, it feels like you're telling their stories. And as a Southerner, I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia boy almost all my life. I feel like, those stories often feel like caricatures, or sort of finger wagging kind of stories, but it's just like stories, and they're great.
Yeah, I tried my best. I went to just strictly the Webster Dictionary of Lamentation, which is an extreme expression of sorrow or grief. And then that is what led to the entire record coming together, because not only was I writing about the politics of watching your country disintegrate in front of you, I was able to start writing about the things that break us as human beings. And so once you start worrying about the things that test your will, that test your spirit, that opens up a whole gamut. So I was able to write about love and love lost, losing a child, the dissolution of a marriage, the death of a child, financial ruin, religion, addiction. I was really able to cover a lot of ground through these tiny little stories that when you get done listening to the record, you realize that this could have all been one guy. And I think that's the fun part, is they're 10 individual stories that thematically there's this kind of central thread that runs through them all that kind of ties it up really nice when you get to the end of it.
From the new record today?
Yeah. I'll play. I know it's the Happiest Hour, but I'm gonna play sad. I'm gonna play an extremely sad song, and then I'll get to the. I'll leave us on an upbeat note.
Great.
I got a picture of you at the grocery store. The two of you were the only thing in life worth fighting for. But since you've been gone, I ain't been much for fighting anymore. These days, things don't come easy. It's all I can do most just to keep it between. Maybe you would still be mine. I ain't had a drop to drink since the day that you left me. 6 years come September, I've been cursed with clarity. I just stare and still haunts all my dreams. These days things don't come easy. It's all I can do most just to keep it between the lines. Maybe you would still be mine. Foolish pride wouldn't let me give you the keys to the Oldsmobile. No way in hell I should have let myself ever get behind that wheel. I was drunk, I regretted it then, I regret it now, and I guess I always will. These days things don't come easy. It's all I can do most, just listening. The two of you would still be mine. I got a picture of you holding a picture of her taped to the dash of my car.
The lamentation, looking back at what you've lost and how you lost it and mistakes you made.
For sure, yeah. I wrote that song. It's a song called 6 Years Come September. It's a song that I wanted to write. I'm almost at 6 years. September 1st, I'll have 6 years of sobriety under my belt.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to write a song, and so that's like the one autobiographical piece of that song. That's the one truth. That's the one piece of myself that I can put myself in that character and know exactly where he is. But also, through my recovery, I've noticed that people think that once you make that decision to get sober, you have a year, you have 2 years, that it's all just sunshine and rainbows from here on out. And I wanted to write a song that kind of looked at the darker side of recovery. Having to look yourself in the mirror every single morning, see those flaws, see those imperfections, and not turn to a vice to dull it or to numb it or to get rid of it. To actually have to look yourself in the mirror every day knowing that's the hard part, is being able to accept how bad of a person you were and just try to be a better person tomorrow. So when I started writing this character, I wanted to make sure that we looked at an extreme version of why someone would be getting sober. And so the first two verses you're following along, you think he got sober because his wife left him. And then when that third verse comes, it's kind of the classic country turn where it's, how can we make a sad song even sadder? And there's that turn. And as a writer, I'm really proud of that song, and the band absolutely knocked that one out of the park.
That's great. Well, there's a few songs on this record where, they feel like those sad country songs, and they build, and then there's this cacophony at the end that it's powerful. So musically as well as
title track, Me and Mine. It's a 3.5 minute folk song with a 3.5 minute crazy jam at the end of it that just gets pretty wild and out there. And
well, it's funny. I know your band's name comes from Wilco, but that was kind of what it reminded me at the end. It's just some of that, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, just deconstruction at the end of a song.
That record taught me a lot about American music. They were the first band that I'm showing my age here. Yankee Hotel Foxtrot came out my senior year in high school. and so I got that record, and it changed everything for me. It proved to me that you could have this rich appreciation for the South or for country music or for where you're from, roots music, but you could also once I heard Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, I realized that American roots music is whatever you make it, whatever you want it to be. And so over the years, we haven't really sounded too much like Wilco, but every now and then we like to let the freak flag fly and just let it go crazy at the end and watch a song that starts off as just a simple folk song really
stretch that.
But, so good.
But Yankee Hotel Foxtrot came out the year that we launched Paste as a magazine, and so that was track one of sampler number one when we put it out, and so that was also a very meaningful record for me.
That's awesome.
Cool, man. Well, what are you gonna play second for us?
I'm gonna play something relatively hopeful on a record that is extremely downtrodden and dark and heavy. I tried to put a couple glimmers in the dark room, and this is the song that closes the record out. This is a tune called The Long Haul. same since you laid that bottle down. The songs ain't got no soul, the band's done lost its sound. Get your head out of the clouds, boy. Pretty soon you'll realize that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for a dream is let it die. I'm in it for the long haul. I'm here until the world. So I'll pick myself up every time I fall. Buddy, I'm in it for the long. Hardest part of getting sober is learning to drinking, buddy. Ain't the same thing as a friend. Just like the hardest part of starting over is admitting to yourself that something's come to an end. But I'm in it for the long guy that's gonna cut and run. So I'll pick myself up every time I fall. Baby, I'm in it for the long haul. I'm as solid as a redwood when she's standing by my side. Sunday after supper, I ask her why she stays. She said, I ain't gonna be just another song about walking away, 'cause I'm in it for the long haul. Cut and run. So we'll pick ourselves up every time we fall. Honey, I'm in it for the long haul. Yes, I'm in it.
Oh man, that's great. That is a little ray of sunshine and a pretty dark record, but a beautiful record.
Yeah, we made sure that was the hopeful exclamation point on a record. It ended up as the last track very purposefully. It was we didn't want people's last listen to be something extremely heavy and down. We wanted it to be that life's hard sometimes, but tomorrow can be better. You just got to work at it, and you can work your way out of any spot that you're in, and that's kind of always been the mantra of the band. I wanted to leave people with that. I had no idea this record was me coming out during a global pandemic. I wish I had I wish I could say it was a prophetic vision that I saw it coming and I wanted to write this record. But the fact that the record came out today in the midst of all of this, some of these songs just have a little bit more weight, and some of these hopeful anthems that are kind of scattered throughout the song seem a little bit more purposeful now, and that feels really nice.
That's great. Well, I know it is a tough time to be releasing a record right now. You would be out there on the road promoting it, playing these new songs, and in North Carolina, sequestered and not able to get out there on the road.
We're making the best of it. Like I said, this is week 6, almost done with week 6, and we're stir crazy. It's me and my wife and my 2-year-old daughter, so we're stuck inside with a toddler, and but we're happy, we're healthy. I can't complain about it. There's a lot of people out there that have it way worse off than we do right now, so if I have to help the greater good, then that.
Well, speaking of Netflix, one thing we like to ask people on this show is, what is that piece of art, whether it's a TV show, a book, another album, or that's
goes. The new Lucinda Williams record has meant a lot to me. She is a beacon of light in any dark time. Like Steve Earle said, she is the voice of heartache, and that record means a lot to me right now. I'm reading some David Joy, one of my favorite authors from the Appalachian region in North Carolina. I'm not going to call it art because I'm watching some pretty horrific television on Netflix. I like to surround myself with other artistic endeavors just so I can not feel like a mutant piece of trash watching some of the stuff that right now we're watching the Waco little mini series they had. I don't know if I should admit this or not. We were one of the millions of Americans that watched Tiger King.
Oh yeah.
And absolutely just sat there with our.
It's hard to look away from that.
It's literally like watching this massive train wreck, and you're like, these people are the scum of the earth, every one of them. Like, the best character in the entire show is the guy that admits to killing a federal agent with a hacksaw and being like being like the modern day Scarface. Like, he's the most likable guy in the show, but I couldn't look away from it. Like, me and my wife just sat there, kind of mouth wide, like, what? This can't be real. This can't be a thing. And we've been watching a lot of that with my daughter. We've watched the new Trolls movie. I think that's the most recent movie that I've purchased. We watched Trolls, but for the most part, we spend the day with the kiddo and making sure that she's growing the way she's supposed to be growing, mentally and physically. And then at night, it's kind of mom and dad time, and we do some separate mom and dad time, and then we do the together watching stuff mom and dad time, and it's we're trying to make the best of it. Like I said, these are kind of these are uncharted waters, and there's no handbook for it, so we're trying to get through it the best we can, and throw on releasing a new album in the midst of that.
Just in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, just could punt and put it out in the fall. And my final thought was people needed a distraction, and there's no better time to put this record, especially what this record's about, finding hope in the really bad situations. We thought that it was best to put this out on 5/1, just to offer people an hour break from the reality that is the outside world right now. So I did it with Shooter Jennings out in Los Angeles, California. Yeah. And I couldn't be any more proud of a collected piece of work than I am on this record. So,
fantastic. Well, the last question I have to ask you is, how was it working with Shooter Jennings?
He is a magical musical unicorn, man. Everybody I've ever talked to that's worked with him really spoke highly of him. And so Shooter really dug the demos. We booked 8 days in Los Angeles in early December, and we flew out there. We never really met each other. And we got in the studio, and he is this immense well of musical knowledge. Like, like, I expected it to be a lot of that, but he is so well versed in R&B and rock and roll and folk music and singer-songwriters. It's really never ending, and it's almost like talking to like 4 of the best records. He had such great ideas. There was zero ego. When you hear of someone, winning multiple Grammys 2 years in a row, you expect their head to be pretty big going into it with, I'm right, trust me, look at the wall. But he was never like that. He was one of the guys. He was our 7th base, 10 songs in 4 days. And it was just because the environment that Shooter provided. He was a coach, and he was a cheerleader in the same person. He was the guy that told us left or right, and once we went that left or right, he cheered us on to the finish line. And it was really fantastic to work with somebody that not only just loves music that much, but cares about serving songs that much. It was, I know I sound like a fanboy right now, but it was a true treat. As someone who's been making records for 15 years, I've seen the highs and lows of working with people. And Shooter is definitely a shining star. I'll never be able to say a bad thing about that guy. He brought out of us what I've always wanted to bring out of our band, which and for anyone that hasn't listened to it, it's available today wherever you consume music. Be the judge. Don't just take my gushing recommendation of my own work. Go check it out yourself.
Well, I will throw my recommendation as well. It really is a great record. You should be proud. It's Lamentations by American Aquarium, out everywhere right now. It's such a pleasure to have you on, BJ Barham.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks for having me on.
This has been so much fun. Take care, be well, stay safe.
2 of my guys are based in Atlanta, so we make it down there quite a bit.
All right, man. Take care.
See you on the other side of this thing.
All right.
Take care.